If you want more views and faster growth on your YouTube channel, podcast, or other content, the answer isn't a more expensive camera or a better microphone. Those things can improve how your content looks and sounds, but the real secret lies in what you do before you hit record. Before the editing, the effects, the lighting, and the camera, what you plan to say is key to hooking your audience and making it easier on you to put it all together later in editing. And your script doesn't have to be word for word or for the whole video. I'll show you how I scripted this very video in just a second, but you can write an engaging, curiosity-driving intro and then bullet point the rest. But knowing how you'll start, including what you'll create for a title and thumbnail, is key for making great content. In a moment, I'm going to break down the 5 steps for planning your content for growth and minimal editing. Remember, you're not trying to trick someone into watching your content, or what that might be known as clickbait. If you believe you have something valuable to offer an audience, and it's worth their time investment to watch, you're doing the audience and yourself a service by making it as compelling as possible right up front. And that all starts with the first key point, which is, what is your hook? What is the first thing someone is going to hear or see when they click play on your video? You'll see here I have several scripts that I've written for videos here on the Riverside channel, and this is the script that I used at the beginning of this one. Now I'm actually off script. I'm down here in the key points that I laid out just in a numbered list, but I'll get to that in a second. I started the video by saying, if you want more views and faster growth, the answer isn't a more expensive camera or better microphone. Number one, that appeals to a need that someone might have. They want more views, they want to grow their YouTube channel or podcast. So immediately I'm telling the viewer what the value is if they keep watching this video. And I also threw in there that it's not about an expensive camera or better microphone. Many times as content creators, we get in our heads about not having the right gear, the lighting, the equipment, but that's actually not what it's about. You can see lots of creators on TikTok and YouTube who have tons of views and subscribers, but they might just be using their phone or tablet to capture the video. So it's not all about the gear. It's more about the value you're providing for your audience. So what is your hook? And I'll give you one other hook that I used in a recent video talking about automatic video editing and some AI tools that are available right now. And I started by asking a question. Is automatic video editing the future? With the rise of AI tools and features, will making all those cuts and edits be obsolete soon? Hopefully that's already hitting a pain point that a lot of solo creators like myself will feel. Editing can be a time-consuming process, it can be tedious, and are there tools out there that can actually expedite that whole process? So think about your hook. What is the first thing someone hears when they click play? And key number 2 is, before they even click play, what are they going to see and read in your title and thumbnail? Now, a great way to improve your skills in title and thumbnail creation is actually just browsing your YouTube homepage. When you're here, you're going to see videos from all kinds of creators with different numbers of views. You'll see videos with hundreds of thousands of views, maybe a dozen thousand views, and you'll actually see some smaller creators as well. And it's really curious when you see those videos with just a couple hundred views or even less, because that means YouTube is showing the videos from smaller creators. Maybe if you're just starting out, your videos are getting on people's YouTube homepages and in their app. But the question is your title and thumbnail enough to actually make someone click? So as you browse the YouTube homepage, think about what thumbnails actually appeal to you. Now, obviously, when thumbnails include a celebrity or an already big creator, that's usually reason enough for someone to click. But think about your own preferences. If you see a thumbnail that looks like this, and the intro, which is part of the hook, the first thing people see will sometimes autoplay right here on the YouTube homepage. Is that something that makes people want to click? And what about the title? This one's pretty compelling. Oftentimes, asking a question in the title can be pretty compelling. And this title's pretty interesting. Is this how woodworking dies? And the thumbnail says, "The End," and shows something that I have no idea what it is, but if I'm into woodworking, I probably want to know what that is in the thumbnail. So hooking your audience is not just about the first thing you say, but the first thing that your audience sees, which is the thumbnail and title of your videos. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be complicated or super busy. Some of the best thumbnails and best performing videos, the thumbnails are pretty simple, still engaging, has interest, but don't feel like you have to be a full graphic designer to make a good thumbnail. One other tip here, a great place to see videos your audience is watching is in your YouTube studio. Go over to the Analytics tab, then go to Audience, and here you'll see channels your audience watches and videos your audience is watching. You can sort by videos or shorts, and look at the titles and view counts of the videos here, because those are probably good signals of what your audience is interested in and maybe some videos you should make in the near future. All right, and key point number 3, plan the flow of your video. This is going to have a lot to do with your editing process later. If you plan your video well, you should have way less editing after you record. Now, like I showed you before, I wrote out the intro to this video verbatim. I wanted to read it, it had the hook, all the things that were going to generate interest, but when it came to the flow of the video, I just had the 5 bullet points. but I knew I wanted to talk about in a systematic way, and in my mind, I knew the visuals that I wanted to show for each point. That might be something you want to write down in a note here, but knowing the flow of your video, how you're going to lead viewers from one thing to the next, and making sure not to have some abrupt transitions like, and now we're going to talk about this. A lot of times viewers will start tuning out when you have that kind of abrupt transition or a clear break in the flow. So plan the flow of your video that's going to help you in the editing and keep your audience with you the whole time. Now you might have seen I switched these right before I recorded, but number 4 is do your research and do the work to actually know what you're talking about. Whether you're doing a solo YouTube channel, interviews, or a podcast, audience will know if you put in the work to actually research the topic you're talking about. If you do reviews, make sure you put in the work. Actually use the thing for an extended amount of time. If you're doing interviews, make sure you research your guests, watch previous interviews they did so you can ask different questions and actually have a unique take or a unique podcast episode. Even if something looks great and you have nice cameras and lighting and microphones, if you didn't do the work of research and actually trying to do something different, your audience will be able to tell. So do your research and do the work. It'll cut down on your editing time and you'll make compelling content. And number 5, use great tools when you're editing after you record. That's why I use Riverside to edit my video podcast and lots of solo content because they have lots of AI tools that make it seamless to put it together. For instance, here's my video podcast. If I go into my latest episode, they have one-click edits for my full episode and also generating magic clips, which I can create these vertical videos of my podcast content in just a few seconds. And when I use that full episode tool, which is literally just one click, I also have access to all these AI producer tools like setting pace, removing the perfect amount of silence, smooth speech, which removes filler words, magic mute. If I have multiple people, it will mute someone's track when they're not speaking, cutting down on background noise. And a super powerful feature is our Smart Scenes feature. When you apply Smart Scenes, which I already did my full episode edit automatically using Smart Scenes, it will focus on the active speaker or focus on you and your guest or co-host automatically. So you'll have a multicam look in your edit with just a click. You can see here it's focusing on my co-host. It automatically did animated captions with a highlighted word, and then it switches back to both of us when there's a moment where maybe the other laughs or there's crosstalk, and all of this was done automatically. Plus, as I shared my screen and played video clips via the Riverside media board, it puts it all together for me with just a single click. So now I have an engaging podcast episode and engaging short form content all edited for me with Riverside. So those are 5 key points for scripting and planning your video for minimal editing and views. But I want to give you a bonus tip. The bottom line, when you're making content, whether it's videos or podcasts, you have to remember what is the value for the viewer or the listener. Are you entertaining them? Are you educating them? Or are you inspiring them? Or some combination of those 3 is actually the best. If you can educate and entertain, think of YouTubers like Mark Rober, who recently passed Taylor Swift in the number of subscribers for his YouTube channel. He's actually educating with science, but entertaining along the way. When you know what value you provide for your audience, and you make sure to provide it regularly and in an engaging way, that's how you're going to grow fast and you'll get views and subscribers, but most importantly, you'll have an invested audience that wants to hear the next thing you say. So think about what value you provide for your audience and do that over and over again. If you have any questions, leave comments below this video. I answer those personally. Would love to help you there. And don't forget to subscribe to the Riverside channel and hit that like button before you go. If you want to learn more about the Riverside editor and all the AI tools we have available, check out this video right here. And if you want to start live streaming, either your podcast, interviews, or game streaming, Riverside has amazing live streaming tools built into the platform as well. Check out this video right here where I walk you through all of it, including bringing in chats from multiple destinations, streaming to YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and more. Thanks for watching. We can't wait to see what you create.